morning or good afternoon. I don't know what time it is when you're watching this, but this morning has been so busy. I woke up and there was a flurry of activity on my Substack chat because one of our members gave us the update that the summer 2025 row collection was loaded to the site, and then it was just mayhem and lots of buzzing in the hive. So I always like, at the tail end of these videos, I usually say, you know, if you want to be with like-minded people or row addicts, the Substack chat is the place to be because we're all going through what we want. The days that the collections drop are the busiest. As we are talking, things are selling out. I think the reason is too because the summer collection, so here's the thing. If we rewind all the way back to the beginning, the very beginning, what they started off with was trying to perfect the t-shirt. And I had a few of the earlier renditions of their t-shirts, and oddly enough, I didn't love them. I didn't like the jersey material. I didn't like the feel and the shape of some of the bat wing long sleeve or 3/4 length sleeve tees. They didn't suit me, but the quality was definitely, like, indisputably elevated. And they had the little chain logo, like the little chain and then the row sewn at the back. And as the collections expanded, they became a lot more formal. And there was this theme of just evening elegance that permeated through a lot of the collections. Then if you go back just 4 years ago, it started to get a little more wearable. And we saw that spring. The years are flying by. Spring 24, people just raised their eyebrows. I did too. It was just caught me off guard and I went, what is this? And then, you know, we saw the infusion of what they would wear on the street, their street style, immersed into the row. And at first people didn't like it. And then as the row slow burn gets us every time, we started to love it. And the reason these pieces, the reason spring 2025 was just almost a near sellout, and there were not just one, not two, but like 5 to 10 items, like the Jolene coat, the Nessun plaid, pieces that didn't last more than an hour on the site. The Peggy clutch, everything was selling out. The Idaho that came back, it's because it's very casual and because it's very wearable. I don't know that everyone needs a suit anymore or really glamorous evening dress, although there are some people that need them, other than the celebrities and the ones that we see on the red carpet. The full looks off the runway that are really elevated are not for everyone. But denim shirt, great. Linen pants, why not? And in this collection, what they seem to have done is come back to their very beginning, to the basics. The genesis of the brand was, let's see if we can perfect a tee. Then this is them doing it in a very different way, but it's really, really sublime. I could see how you could look at a collection like this, like why would I pay this much for this t-shirt? And I get it. When you see it on somebody else, you might not know until you get close. I was at the showroom for this one and I touched all of these pieces. And when you touch them, you get it. It contextualizes the collection, as I've always said, touch and getting close and feeling the items and trying them on. Trying the looks really gives you a full appreciation for the value of it. And while personally, I might not be willing to invest 2,000 Canadian dollars in a cotton t-shirt, I could see how if you were in that bracket of spending and you had the disposable income, you might, because I haven't seen anything like this. I've seen cashmere, I've seen woolen tees, but I've not seen texturized, treated, nubby cotton tees like this. But I know what's going to happen too, is I know that there are going to be versions of it. Massimo Dutti, Zara, we're going to see High Street trying to duplicate these. Now, sometimes they do a great job, like the Jolene jacket from spring. Zara had a version of it and it was pretty spot on. But I think with the materials that they've used, like the cotton cashmere, they call it cot cash, and the nubby t-shirts that are done in cotton, the way they're pilled, intentionally pilled, I think it's going to be hard to duplicate and get the same quality and the same feel on the body. And for me, a lot of times it's feel. So as always, when a collection is released, I'll do a full review on Substack in a timely basis. So when it was released way back, and I post it to Instagram. So let's just quickly go through a little bit of the images and the groupings that I did, and then I'll get into the detail and what's new. All right, I need my glasses. This is the heart of the collection. It embodies the spirit of summer. and really wearable. I mean, season appropriate. It doesn't look too heavy. Breathable fabrics. These pieces, Kendall Jenner was already spotted in this full look, and I didn't like it on her. I think that top, listen, we don't walk around with hands in our pockets all day. If we did, then this would be great. When I saw it on Kendall, and she's lovely, things look really great on her. I get what they're going for, like the Japanese feel and flow, but it didn't flow for me. This shirt needs to be a little shorter. From the waist down, it worked. Like pants and shoes are great. The ballet flats are like the supple Napa leather. They're beautiful. But the top, just didn't love it. Anyway, these are what I grouped together as like volume. And then lightweight coats for cool summer nights. We all know that the Olsons are kind of weather neutral. They don't care whether it's warm or cold. They always have a long coat, even in the middle of summer, even when it's hot. And I think these are not a bad idea. Even if you're in a warmer climate. I had a lady on the chat ask if it was ridiculous to be considering the Rio polyester coat, even though she lives in Texas. But having tried it on, it feels like nothing. So I think it would be okay. And then we have lessons in layering. Nobody does layering quite like the row that appeals to me. Clutching tightly, just a little play on words there. There's clutches in each of their hands. I know it's hard to see, the images are blurred, and I know they're trying to ward off predators, but the dupes are gonna come out regardless. I know they have some spies. I'm sure there are spies, and it's inevitable. These are gonna make it to market sometimes before the OG drops. And we have well dressed. There's a lot of options, and these do sell well, but I wonder if they don't put as many of them into production, because I mean, except for a few people in our Substack chat, these aren't top of the wish list. There are a lot of other things that take precedence, especially at these prices. You really have to be you really have to cull your list of the things that you want. And shoes, plain and simple. So there weren't a lot of shoes on display in the showroom. And I thought, well, maybe the expanded offering is gonna show us some more, but it didn't. And I kind of like that. I'm really overwhelmed. We'll get to that at the end in closing. Noteworthy necklines. These were gorgeous. Bejeweled collars, removable bejeweled collars. One of them, I thought this piece, maybe I'd wear it on my wrist. A scallop neckline on this dress is lovely. Let's start with coats, because as you've heard me mention a million times, the coat is the outfit when it comes to the row. It is sort of the defining element of any outfit, and it's very much part of their DNA, and it cannibalizes the rest of the outfit anyway. So if you're gonna start to build a row capsule collection, you want a long coat, and then you want to go into essentials like gala pants and Sibum sweater and an oversized Luca, something like that. Once you've got all that, you can get into a little bit more of the frills. And for the summer collection, they have introduced some really beautiful coats. So the Rio coat, they're really bullish on this coat. They've done it in a couple of colors and some different fabric ways. So we have the Cupro, which is lovely and very classic in the taupe. And then this color, wow, I just think the dark brown, it is so gorgeous and rich. And by the way, I'm not loving any of these prices, but like I said, having seen it, you're sort of like, oh, okay. And then I've passed on a lot of these things, and then I go looking for the dupes or something that's going to tide me over until I find this at the Real 2 years later, and it just never fills my cup. So I pass and I wait. I wait for it to show up pre-owned, but they're really, really beautiful. They fall nicely on the shoulders. They drape well. The belt is at the right place, even for me at 5'2", and I'm really lucky that I'm 5'2", because then the length is floor length, which is how I think it's meant to be worn. And the one in silk is unbelievably beautiful, light, like you're floating when you walk around in it, and has matching wide leg pants. I would love to have that. If I had a bottomless budget, this would be in it. And then we have this version in the nylon, which I think is the most practical and the most affordable. And then we have the Nilsat coat in cashmere, the Annetta coat in wool and alpaca. I don't want to spend too much time on these two because they're not really season appropriate. Every season they do releases of coats that fall into the collection, and there are certain clients on the other side of the world, maybe in Australia because it's cold there, that are buying these pieces, or collectors that just buy everything. But what am I doing with it in summer? And then every time fall and winter collections are released, there's always something else I want more. the Rocco coat in wool and this one in cotton and cashmere. It's a classic long car coat, and it's not too voluminous. It's like, it looks like it's a little more shapely than the Denise was, and it's a bit longer. It's gonna fall to my ankles. This one in taupe has my heart. I have a coat by Foam that kind of reminds me of this. It's shorter, and then it has silk lining in the sleeves, and it's really beautiful. And if I didn't have that, I'd want this. I still want this because this is cotton and cashmere, and I know it's going to fall differently than the other one. It's gonna be a little longer and leaner, but I just can't, I don't know if I can justify it. So I think I have to go back to the Rio in my head and do that one because it's different than what I have in my closet already. The Kemeta coat and Kemetina coat, these two are of the moment. They're really going all in on this style, aren't they? We've just seen so much of this peppered into the collections recently. I love military green, and I love like a thick cotton. This might be too thick for me for summer and best for fall. And then the Kemetina coat in silk, not practical, and at that price in white, no thank you. I know there will be a lot of people buying this and it'll probably sell out, but it's just not for me. The Camilla coat in wool, very classy. I like the full look for this. It's very much for the office. And the Babylonia coat in leather, very nice. The contrast with pink is lovely with the brown. I think that's great if you're in the market for this kind of a coat and you missed out on the Posiadone one, which I think was actually more beautiful than this one, then maybe this is for you. And now we'll move into jackets. The Elk jacket, which is the one that we saw on Kendall. Like I said, we're not walking around with hands in our pockets. I don't know who this is gonna look good on, unless you're wearing a crossbody bag and it cinches it in at the waist while you wear it, or you belt it. That's another option. Elodiana. I am gonna butcher all the names, I apologize. So this is like the Frank jacket, the field jacket, the barn jacket. I like it, but I'm seeing too much of it and I'm over it in a way. Not over it meaning I would never wear it. I mean, I'm over it for this price. This is something that I would wait for because it feels a bit trendy, and even though it's practical, wearable, and some people don't think it's trendy because it's very much them, it's not traditionally me, and so I would have to get it pre-owned and then see how much I wear it. If you missed out on Frank and if you really like the style, then I would consider that. I really like this, the Garel jacket in Cupro. I just don't like things over my head. Maybe it's an age thing, but I overheat and I want to be able to take things off. I wouldn't do this, but I love how it looks. It's really cool. And then that, shiny fabric. The Jarrell jacket in cotton. I had something like this in the 80s with the contrast collar. Ader jacket in leather, which is a cute little bomber. I think that maybe the leather on this one might be stiff. Color's very rich, and it's sporty and clean. And I'm not sure it's me. I would have to do something different underneath, like wear an untucked shirt to make it look a little more interesting. The Axlet leather jacket, same idea. Looks like an oily finish, and I'd have to see it up close to know if it was going to be stiff or move well. Then we have the Fabian jacket in leather. I think this one will be very soft. Massimo Dutti did, I think it was suede last season or the season before, and it looked like this. And so I would do that one. I always worry with spending this kind of money on a color like this because denim is evil. Bags sometimes rub onto the leather, and those stains are near impossible to remove. I mean, it can be done. I've heard from my Substack chat members that some of their bags have been saved from the evils of a denim wash onto it, but I don't know. Then we have the Kamiko jacket in wool and silk. It's nice, it's long. It reminds me of the shape of it, like my Giedra jacket, which I love, but I find those jackets a bit too long for me at 5'2". But this is a very nice color, very muted. Now let's look at some of the sweaters. I don't want to spend too much time here because while there's some newness, I know that we're not investing a lot in knits in warm weather, but the Kasim cardigan in cashmere in these two shades are pretty, and they look to be very thin, and so these are more likely the ones that you're going to gravitate towards. And it's interesting, the Kathy sweater, at first glance you're thinking, okay, well, this is just more of the same, like all the knits that they do in the fall, but it's not, because it's in cotton, and look at the texture. It translates on screen like it's cashmere. Kisora sweater in cashmere in beige melange is what they're calling it. This particular sweatshirt in silk at that price, in this color, well, it's going to be a little tricky. Then we have the Greta's cardigan in cotton. I like that. And the price isn't too bad. I mean, it's still mildly offensive, but not that bad. And then we have more sweatshirts in silk. I like a hooded sweatshirt. In fact, I prefer the hooded one to the crew neck one. If I were to do one, I would do a hooded. And then the, well, I think this is from the previous season, is the Timea's sweatshirt. That name, this is the other thing, is the collections are starting to get blurred, especially when we get into knits. I can't ever remember, did this come out before or did it come out now? Then the Causey vest in cashmere. I have something like that in my closet already, and so I don't know that I need another one. And then we have the Kishin vest in cotton, Yoko sweater in cotton, funnel necks, beautiful. And then the Jarko cardigan in wool and cashmere, follow up to the Harco cardigan that they had done in cashmere. And then we have the Geo cardigan in linen. Have a look through and see what you like. There's nothing there that I think is a, must have. So now let's get into tops, which are basically tees. I love t-shirts. I live in t-shirts. I've had a few experiences with my row tees, and first of all, some of them are stiff, cumbersome, and I've accidentally washed them and dried them and lost them, and so you have to dry clean them. So unless the color is really unique and calls to me, I kind of skip past all the t-shirts because I just think that my money is better spent somewhere else. The 2 or 3 that I like that I think I would consider, the Lavinia t-shirt in cotton in this blue because it's the color that's really, really cool. I wouldn't do it in the cream, or either the Suruni top in cotton in the red. Flory t-shirt in the red is lovely. The Flory t-shirt in the gray is very nice. The Nadina cotton t-shirt in yellow is pretty. I have a yellow and they do yellow very well. It's not like that kind of tacky yellow, it's a buttery yellow. But let's do shirts and tops because then we're gonna get into those nubby tees. I'm obsessed with their shirts because I wear them all year round. I wear them on top in the summer and I wear them through the fall. I wear them in the winter. They're my go-to. It's part of my uniform. I often look through their shirts first to see where my budget's going to be spent, and then I add in other categories. The Vanda shirt, it's an updated version, I would say, of the big Sissia and the Cecilia, constantly perfecting the cut and tailoring of these classics. The Millerina shirt in cotton, they've done it in pink, and then a yellow, which, like I said, their yellows are buttery. Then the Tansy shirt in silk, in pink, and this one in cotton and cashmere in beige. It's like a dark beige, and that's going to be dreamy. I have some of their cotton cashmere shirts, and they're really nice. The problem is they're a bit stiff. I do overall prefer silk for shirting or a thin cotton or a soft cotton like Luca in teal and sienna. Those were nice. The Inawa top in this contrast color, the brown, is a unique piece. I think if you're looking at adding a top, then this might be one to put on your list. I wouldn't do it necessarily in black, even though you might get more wear out of it. I think it's too special and the detail is lost in that color. And then the Pallenberg top in cotton. If you have an evening event to go to and you don't want to wear a dress, but you like slacks, I think this is a nice way to go. The thing is, it's long. It's long like the other tops are. So you could hem it, or leave it, but it's really pretty, isn't it? And it covers that part of your arm that you might not want to show if you're like me. And then we have the cedar top. They're like tents. Definitely not for me. I don't love it even on the models. I know everyone's crazy about them and they're all excited about it. The idea of it's great and I like it in the photos and it's fresh and it's new and it's cool. But I don't think I would reach for this over and over. It's too much fabric. I can't move around with it, like get to things without worrying about where my shirt is going. I feel swallowed up in it. I'd lose my shape entirely. Definitely more for someone who's taller and definitely not at that price. Then we have the Elna top in cotton. Don't like this at all. Don't know who this is going to look good on. I often eat my words though. I'm sure some of you will leave comments in the description later on when I've been proven wrong. Please do. The Caddy top in cotton in the gray and the black. The gray specifically because it stands out. The texture on these tops, really did believe they were cashmere until I got up close and I got the education on the cotton and the process it goes to arrive at this intended nubby pilled effect. And it is quite a process, and that is evident in the price. But what's not evident is how it feels. It doesn't translate. It's really, really lovely. There will be a lot of people wanting this top. I know. I want it, but I won't be buying it simply because it's an affordability issue, because there are other things on the list that I want more. But if you want something that embodies the spirit of the collection, then this is a piece to have. Kabira top in cotton. There's nothing else there that I really want to cover in detail except maybe the Zena top in linen. And then the underside is white, and it's just a showstopper. Again, not for me day to day, and unless you have a lot of events to go to or you don't mind wearing this out grocery shopping, it's just not something I want to buy. Now we'll do dresses. As always, there's a lot in the offering. I would say that this is evening dress heavy in terms of percentage portion of the collection, and we'll do the Mitzi dress first. The scalloped neck is really pretty, and it's a very clean, straight dress. I like it with the ballet flats. It's not interesting enough for me. The neck is pretty, but it's very feminine. And then we have the Edmonia dress in cotton and silk. It doesn't look like much, but it's an updated version of a Robbie. I like the Robbie because it's free and flows and it's A-line, but maybe it's nice to have your waist defined. And then the Fanny dress in wool. This is like a sari. If you move that sash over, you kind of have a sari. I'm so jealous of those people that have galas and events to go to, because what I would want to do at the very least is try all these things on, take photos of it, and like moody, cool photos, and post them, and then be done with it. And I would just never have a need for it. And then the Mitsuko dress in viscose with that bejeweled collar. And the collar is gorgeous. I just wonder if it'd be scratchy. The Katia dress in cotton, a little bit like a potato sack. Even the material lends itself to that feeling. And again, unless you're walking around with hands in your pockets, it's not that flattering. It's shapeless. I would need to try this on to see. These shirt dresses. I love a shirt dress, and the Chihiro dress in cotton and the one in silk. I think these are great. The Anita's dress in wool. Julianne Moore stepped out in this dress with her Lisa Eisner earrings. She looked amazing. It has pockets. It's a beautiful, beautiful dress. I was hoping it was going to come in a little lower in price. This is one that I was thinking maybe I want this, but I'm passing. I'm just going to have to live vicariously through Julianne and anybody else who buys it. And please, if you're in the Substack chat and you do buy it, I want to see pictures of you in it. The Mickey dress in cotton and silk, very nice, bit shapeless. I would do it with pants on the bottom and make it like a kurta pajama. And then the Mia dress in silk, definitely one that gives you a bit of shape. And I like the back with breasts, not sure how to manage that. You could wear those little tapey things. Sayuri dress in viscose with the contrast collar always gets my attention because it's so striking, and I think that's kind of the idea of a dress like this. It's subtle, it's elegant, and it's very easy in the viscose. The Raquel dress in wool, which is generous enough that it's going to accommodate a shirt underneath like this. I wonder if you could just wear it on its own, what it would do. Maybe it would go almost off shoulder. I was at the showroom and I got to touch a lot of these pieces and feel them. It wasn't a place to try things on. It wasn't like there was a change room, so I could try on the coats but not the dresses. And I miss the days when I could, because there was a time when I could do that. And now I can't really give you as much information as I'd like to. The Violetta dress in wool and silk, very feminine. I don't like the shape for me. The bottom half doesn't, it's very mermaidy, and I don't like that. The Tezza dress in linen, like I said, this collection, the linen, it's something to be appreciated and tried. The Nicole dress in silk, if you're getting married and you're on a beach, how lovely would that be? The Kalena dress in cotton, the Rikira dress in cotton, the Kaori dress in viscose. Have a look through the dresses. I think now I'm ready to move on to skirts. A Toretta skirt in wool and silk it's very nice. Zyra skirt in cotton, airy, and it's not fluid. It's very nice and thin and perfect for summer. I like the Lapita skirt in silk. I love these fabrics, these checks that they're doing that remind me of Uma Wang. I don't think I want to spend a lot of time on skirts. There's not many. Go through them. If you're interested in skirts and more tailored office styles, there's not a lot to choose from. They're more of the pull-on type. Maybe the Saul skirt in cotton, silk, and linen would be one to consider. because of the color for summer would be great. Nothing too exciting going on there. Pants and shorts, Sharka pant and cotton cashmere. I got up close to these. It was the first thing that I wanted to touch were the tees, the nubby tees, and then the matching cotton cashmere pants, and they're all great. They're, if you love the Aglita, if you love like the old Igor pants, and then you're gonna love these because it's just better. They make small tweaks, and usually, I shouldn't say always, sometimes it goes the other way, but usually it's a little bit better. The issue with like the Sharka pant and the cotton cashmere is, as much as I love a white pant in the summer, such a klutz, like if we go out to dinner, if I'm eating a red sauce or something, I can't be worried about staining a pair of pants that are, $1,800 for me in Canadian dollars and not being able to get that stain out. Don't forget when you're hemming your pants though, if you want this look, you need them to be long. Don't make the mistake of thinking, oh, I really don't want them dragging. Yeah, you're gonna have them dragging a bit to get this look, and it's worth it. And then after a while, when they're all just beat up and kind of gross, you snip them a little, and it still gives you one break. I like 1.5 break, but after some time when you have to cut them and hem them, you'll still have one break. So be generous with the length when you drop your pants off at the tailor. The Vendula pant in cotton. I want these. I think these would be cool, cuffed at the bottom. Lenka pant in cotton and cashmere. Really nice, just kind of like Dockers, kind of Gap-ish. But again, the material is very different than what the Gap would produce. Alphitis pant in cotton. This is like your updated Igor, and they've done it in a few colors. My favorite is in this color, in the taupe, and that's the pair that I want. That's the pair I'm hoping to have, and I think sizes are gonna go very quickly. Deary pant in silk, which is the bottom half of that outfit that Kendall was wearing. I think these could be cool with a different top, like maybe a baby tee. You have the Enya pant in the Cupro and in the cotton, gorgeous, just very classic pajama style pants that we saw the Hypnosa pant in the previous collection that are really nice and completely sold out in that plaid. This surprised me. I thought there's no way anybody's gonna pay this for a pajama pant. As much as I like them, they're not gonna sell. And they did sell. I mean, the striped pair is still available. The ones that I wanted, they're gone. Then you have the Balena pant. This was the pair that went with that trench that I talked about before. Heavenly. I want them. I really do. And I like this whole look. It's so beautiful. It's very elegant. Bryce pant in wool and silk. You have the Miros pant in viscose. I've already heard back from people saying the pants are beautiful. Let's do shoes. As I mentioned, there weren't a lot, and I kind of like that. I don't need to be overwhelmed with shoes selection. The Hue ankle strap in leather. It looks like it has a little bit of support there. Sometimes that rim gives me trouble when it comes up. Then sizing becomes an issue, and this is available in whole sizes only, so it will be a situation of the 37 might be too big and the 36 might be too small. But I like that it has a strap on the ankle for those that don't like flip-flops, for the reason that your foot has to hold the shoe. This might be good. Then you have the Hue thin strap slide in leather in a couple of colors, and I think the Stella is a standout piece because it's so basic, really understated, really flat, not going to give you a lot of support. I felt them. They are buttery soft, which they've been doing a lot more of that leather lately, and they're like a gymnast shoe. You're going to want them to fit snug because they're going to stretch. But look at it in the leather and glass. How gorgeous are these? Look at the detail here, and I mean a price to match. I'm gonna do the leather black pair, so long as they don't hurt my feet. I'm definitely trying them. They're in my pre-order. The gold would be nice too if you missed out on the square toe or don't like the square toe. And then you have the square loafer in leather. I don't love these. I don't know why. I'm still trying to figure it out. I like the leather. I don't like the shape, but I think a lot of you will. I think that happens a lot to me, is the things that I really don't like are the things that sell out sometimes. An update to the square ballet flat in the pony. I have ordered this as well in the black, in the pony hair. I do like it in the beige. I think it could be a nice neutral to an all black outfit, would be great, but I'm going to do the black. Then you have the Aurora flat shoe, the slides, again, very flat, seems to be the theme. Let's do a barely there shoe with no support. And then the Signum mule in leather. I have the Signum thong sandals and I really like them, but I think this could be kind of cool. It's kind of 90s and an update to what I have, but I don't know that I need both. And I definitely don't want to add more heels at this point in my life, high heels. I don't wear them a lot. They've done it in the flat, a few slides, and the Helena sandal. I mean, some of these are just very kind of like Birkenstock, James Purse shoes that have been around for a while. Let's take a minute to talk about the Sarah Slide in elastic and leather. Look at this red. It's pretty with all the detail of like, I think of my goodie hairbands, multi-hairband strap slide. Really cute and will be great with like a nice flowy skirt. Amma slide and rubber. When the collection came out, I laughed because it immediately reminded me of, and I'm looking at them, they're my son's shoes that are sitting at the door that look pretty much like this shoe. And I thought, how much are these gonna be? But that price isn't so bad, right? It's not bad, but it is a rubber slide. And, but look, you know that this is something that the Olsen twins would wear very well with like white socks. And we'd see them in Paris in September walking around in these. Personally, can't do them because they're rubber and my neuromas hate rubber. I haven't heard anybody in the chat talk about this, which I find interesting because I thought this was going to be like the Mara Jelly, the one everyone would talk about, and they've even done it in a red, and the red is really nice. Waiting to see if that's going to be something that sells out. And then you have the round ballet flats in the leather. This red is so pretty. I can't do the elasticated backs. If I could, I would do them because these are very comfortable. I know that the heel version of these shoes, people were saying the backs were slipping out, their heel was slipping out as they walked. You don't think you'd have that problem with the flats though. And then you have the soft moccasins in suede, not my favorite. The Helena flip-flop, they remind me of Indian chappals and I want them. The leather looks really soft, it looks very comfortable, open, breathes nicely, elegant, but can also go casual, very nice. Okay, now we get to the fun part, handbags. An update to the Marlowe, there's some new styles, there's a lot. The Lilu woven bag in leather, I've done it in chocolate brown and a black. I think it's nice because it goes over the shoulder and it makes it very practical. And it's not too long, so getting your things in and out of it going to be quite comfortable and easy. I like the detail. It adds some complexity and texture to your outfit. Then you have the Maya tote in the wood brown, which just looks so much like the black. So people are gonna ask me, which color would you do? You know what, the brown looks so much like black, I would just go with the black. I like the contrast of the top stitching. I like that it's in an aged leather. It has an interior pocket, it's an open tote, cool and easy. It looks like a shopping bag. I think this is another good one. This is going to be the problem with bags for this collection. There's a lot to choose from and a lot of good options. And then you have this Maya tote, which is a longer version. This is a little difficult, and I'm speaking from experience because I have the Mara tote in the gold. It's not the easiest to work with. So if I have my contents in it and I'm trying to find something, I can't find it because it came with a black liner. So a black bag like this, because it's long and deep, it's not always easy to get your things in and out, but it's a look. And if you think that the East-West look is too common, then you're gonna wanna do this one. Then you have the Nan shoulder bag, this color especially. I really like it in the sage. I just love sage green so much. I like the idea of it held in hand as a clutch, but as a classic shoulder bag, it's too classic for me. I think it's gonna look elegant on the right person. I know a lot of people will like this. And then the Marlowe bags came in 2 new sizes, as I had been telling people in the chat that if you don't like the 17 because it's very big and because the gusseted sides fall out and it makes it much bigger than the 17 Margot, then you're gonna wanna do the 12 or 14. What I didn't know was that they were gonna put a zipper on top. The 12 and 14 are called bags. Then you have the Marlowe tote, which is open in the 17, and the Marlowe bag in the 17, which has the zip top. The style is the same. The zipper makes it really practical, and it's wonderful because then if you're traveling and you've got your contents, you hold your bag close to your body, but you're worried about somebody putting their hands in and taking something, or you throw it in the car and everything spills out when you aggressively brake. I never do that. But it's just not as cool with the zipper, right? An open tote is just way cooler. The other thing to note about the Marlows, somebody was asking me about the 12 and whether the 12 goes over the shoulder. It will be tight. The Margot 17 has a 7-inch drop, and that one just goes over the shoulder and not comfortably for a lot of people and not over a coat very easily. So the Marlowe 12 has a 6.89-inch drop. So I'm gonna say no. The Isa bag in leather in some colors. This is nice with the little side adjustable buckle. It's slouchy and relaxed. The Blake hobo, it just reminds me of that, and it's not different enough or unique enough, but it's nice. If you don't have a bag like this in your wardrobe, then why not? Very functional. The bags that have my heart are the woven. So there's the Haley woven hobo in this color, then we have it in the blue, and then this pretty like yellow green combination. This is the one that I want, is with the black and the blue, black and the green. It's not something that I have, and I know that this is going to look nice even in the fall with a black coat. Market bags are sort of the theme of summer, and we're going to probably see a lot of dupes. And the mini I like, it's cute and handheld. It's far more functional in the taller size. The question for me is not if I'm going to get a barn tote, it's which color do I get. As soon as I saw this, I knew that there was going to be some teasing from my husband. He's going to pull out our grocery store bags and go, look at my bag and it cost 50 cents. Do you remember the Balenciaga Bazaar totes? I wanted one of those, the large one, and I missed out. The Astra bowling bag is going to come in an embroidered leather and chocolate brown. That is lovely, isn't it? I think the Astra bag is very nice. It's a nice bag. I have it. I'm probably going to sell it because it's very conservative. It reminds me of the 90s. I did a lot of these bags. I had some Pradas in the 90s, and it's not like I don't like the bag, and it's very functional and really soft, has a zip closure, it goes over the shoulder, all sorts of things that are great about the Astra bag. But the bag is just not slouchy and relaxed and sloppy enough for me, so it's not my favorite. But if you like Astra, and there's a lot of people that are in the Astra camp, then I would do the embroidered. Sicily top handle bag in silk. Very nice, reminds me of Pim, the one that they had done in leather. Nice for evening, and then they have the mini version of it as well. The Emojin mini tote and the Emojin large tote. I had posted this on my Instagram stories, just saying, hey, summer's here, look how pretty this is. A couple of people in my Substack chat ordered it, or did they say they were going to? Anyway, just a few conversations, and then we checked and they were all gone. And the Marlowe 17 in the cotton canvas, and I like the color contrast of the leathers to the canvas, but I don't like how stiff this is, and I don't know if this will soften up. The 17 was too big to begin with. I had done a little mini review on Instagram. On my frame, it just felt wrong because, like I said, the gusseted sides fall out, so it looks bigger. But if you like the Marlowe 17, then you'll be pretty happy about this collection because there's a lot of new color offerings, and they now have a zipper. But it doesn't seem like the Marlows are moving as quickly as I thought they would. A Harper backpack. They did something like this many, many years ago, and I see it on the Real, and it never sells. And so I don't know how the Harper will do. I love backpacks. I have 3 or 4 styles of their backpacks, but not everybody does. It's nice because it's got these zippers on top, and it looks like it's compartmentalized, very chic and very functional. If you don't have a backpack already, and you didn't get the 11, and you didn't get Joe, and you didn't get Sporty, and you didn't do the Puffy, maybe you do this one if you've been waiting for your perfect backpack, because it looks like it's about the right size too. It's not going to be too cumbersome. And then you have the Didion shoulder bag in cotton. I like it in this brown. I think I want one of those. And the problem is that there's so many options in these crochet and mesh market bags that I don't know which one I'm going to want. For accessories, we already talked about this collar, and I think that it's a collector's piece. I think this is something that you can wear on your wrist. A follower on Instagram had messaged me and said, oh my God, this is the perfect thing to cover up my 55-year-old neck. Yes, clasp sunglasses in eel, really gorgeous. A lot of money for a sunglass case, but wow, how rich, and especially in this color. Lots to consider in the summer collection. That's the thing with summer, is it's just so wearable. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. It just feels like the row has succumbed to the pressures of the industry in terms of cycling out new collections and a lot of merchandise. There's so much more at wholesalers now that I don't even worry when I miss out on a piece. There's so much being produced that I know it's going to show up on the Real eventually. When I bought my Gaia sandals, I want to say that was back in 2020. There weren't as many categories for the row, and it was a lot easier to make choices and just enough to choose from. And it didn't feel gluttonous to be buying a few pieces from each collection because they were just different enough. But now we've reached a point that if you've been collecting the row and you have the row, you have a suit, you have your oversized shirts, you have some of their bags, you have a Margot, but the collections they've exploded. Every category has exploded. There's like 100 new t-shirts and And what they're showing on the site is not necessarily all of it either, because that's the row buy. Then you have what the wholesalers purchase. They often do different colorways. Sometimes they do different fabrics. Sometimes there's a piece that the row doesn't produce for themselves, but they do for a wholesaler. So you're going to see different styles. That happens too, and it just becomes so much. In fact, I was joking that in the morning when we had talked about this, I was so tired after reviewing it and chatting that I needed to take a nap. Decision paralysis. Maybe you play the same game I do. You put things in the cart and you watch them disappear. And don't worry, you will find it later. I promise you, you will find it later. The Dune red jacket was a case like that. I wanted it, but it was a lot of money for that much red. Didn't know how much I was going to wear it. 3 of those or more have shown up on The RealReal, and I managed to get one of them. Yes, you won't be on time. But if you're truly not a trend person, and I'm not, I don't think that should matter. I don't think it matters if I don't get, say it's the Jolene jacket, which everybody's wearing right now and everybody loves and it's gorgeous. It just felt like a lot of money for a jacket like that. And I wasn't sure if that's where I wanted to put my money, but it'll probably show up later. I do think it will. And I may miss out on it a couple times, like my fingers don't work as quickly as they used to, so I can't snipe things as easily as I did before, and there's a lot more people with eyes on the row. But I trust that if I really want it, I'll get it. And like I said, wait a couple weeks and just see, and then watch what people are buying. Sometimes there's 2 things that happen. Sometimes you start wanting things more when you see people wearing it, and then sometimes you want it less. Feel that through. Sometimes you think, oh, I'm over it. Everybody has this. I don't want this. And sometimes you think, I never considered it. That's something I might want. That happened to me with Nessun Plaid. I liked it. I thought it was going to be too bold, but then I put it on and it suited me. It suited my skin. It suited my frame. It suited my life. Bags have the best resale. Bags are something that you can sell and get your money back. And if you made a bad decision, you won't need to worry about it. But if you spend $2,000 on a Nebby tee and feel badly about it, I think somebody's going to offer you $400 later. So you really have to know you want it. You're going to love it. You're going to keep it. It's easy to get excited and caught up in the excitement of this collection. But don't forget, we were feeling that way about spring, 2 months ago? So just hold on. In a month and a half to 2 months, there's going to be another collection. In fact, June, we're going to be seeing spring 26 because we just saw winter 25. Any questions and you're not really sure which way to go, please join the Substack chat. We talk the row all the time. There's so many voices out there now and so many people wearing the row and dropping YouTube videos, and they're on Instagram and TikTok always talking about it. But we have a group, call them loyalists, and we help each other. If you made it to this point with this crappy audio, I thank you. I'm going to do another video in a couple of weeks and drop it on the Ulstonification of an outfit.